Today, we're taking a deep dive, a complete X-ray of one of India's biggest retail success stories, D-Mart. Now, we all know it's a place for incredible value, but what's the real secret sauce behind its unbelievable growth? Well, let's get into it.
We've all seen a D-Mart, right? Packed with shoppers, carts overflowing. It's a familiar sight. But this isn't just about low prices. It's about a finely tuned, meticulously crafted business machine. In this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers to really understand the anatomy of this value empire, and we're using insights pulled straight from the source, their very own company reports.
So here's our game plan. First up, we'll look at the company's DNA, its core philosophy. Then we'll crunch the numbers and see just how staggering its performance is. After that, we'll dissect the actual strategy that powers it all, check out its impact beyond just the stores, and finally, we'll take a hard look at the challenges on the horizon.
All right, to really get how D-Mart works today, you've got to go back to the very beginning. You have to understand the core idea that sparked this whole thing. You see, D-Mart wasn't just some random retail idea. Nope. It was a massive, real-world experiment by a legendary value investor, Radhakishan Damani. He had this deep insight into the Indian consumer and a powerful hypothesis that a relentless, almost obsessive focus on value would always win. D-Mart was his way of proving it to the world.
And that whole philosophy, it's boiled down into 3 super simple but incredibly powerful core values. This isn't just some corporate jargon they hang on a wall. This is their actual playbook. Act with focus to deliver value. Operate with truth to build trust. And care for every single person involved. It's that simple, and it guides everything.
Okay, so that's the DNA. Now let's see how that translates into cold, hard numbers. And trust me, these numbers tell one heck of a story about a company that isn't just growing. It's absolutely accelerating. First, let's talk revenue growth, a massive 28% jump year over year. That's not just growth, that's a rocket ship. It means more people are pouring through their doors and they're spending more money. This is the sound of a retail engine firing on all cylinders. But here's where it gets really fascinating. Their profit is growing at 39%. That's way faster than their revenue. So what does that tell you? It points to a fanatical obsession with efficiency. They own most of their stores to kill rental costs, and they run a super tight supply chain. They aren't just selling more stuff, they are masters at squeezing more profit out of every single thing they sell. And all this is being fueled by a relentless physical expansion. 324 stores across India by the end of fiscal year 23. I mean, think about that. That's like opening a new store every couple of weeks. They are just methodically planting their flag in new territory, city by city. So where's the money coming from? Well, no surprise, food and groceries are the biggest slice of the pie, over 56%. But look at the rest. Almost 44% comes from other high-value categories like apparel and general merchandise. That mix is absolutely crucial for their bottom line. Okay, so we've seen the incredible results, but how? How on earth do they do it? Let's crack open the operational playbook that makes this whole engine run. You have to start with their mission statement. It is just brutally simple and crystal clear. There's no fluff, no fancy words, just one single-minded goal: be the absolute cheapest option around, period. Every single decision they make gets filtered through this one objective.
And here it is. This is their secret weapon, a simple but totally brilliant 4-step process. First, they target customers who buy in bulk. Think families, small business owners. Second, they're completely obsessive about cutting costs. Every single groupie is accounted for. Third, they hire locally and train people from the community, which builds this incredibly loyal workforce. And fourth, they support local businesses, which not only helps the community, but also gives them a huge supply chain advantage. It's a win-win-win-win. But remember that third core value we talked about, care? Well, the D-Mart story isn't just about profit margins and smart tactics. When you dig into their reports, you see this deep and growing commitment to their impact on society and the environment.
Just look at this chart. It's incredible. It tells you everything you need to know about a company that's putting its money where its mouth is. They went from just over 4 megawatts of solar capacity in 2019 to nearly 28 by 2023. That is a massive leap. This is a real, measurable investment in a greener future.
And their impact goes way beyond just the environment. This image, for me, really captures the heart of their social mission: education. They're making huge investments in the communities where they operate, with a laser focus on empowering the next generation. And the numbers really back this up. I mean, just look at the growth in a single year. The number of students in their digital literacy program jumped from 85,000 to over 112,000. The number of schools they're supporting is up across the board. This isn't just some one-off donation. It's a rapidly scaling social investment program. Just let that number sink in for a second. In one single year, D-Mart's programs helped over 128,000 students. That's like an entire city's worth of young people getting a better shot at their future, all because of these initiatives. But no company is without its challenges. It can't all be smooth sailing. So to get the complete picture, we have to look at the risks D-Mart is facing and the big questions that are going to define its future. And to their credit, the company is really transparent about these risks in their own reports. They're worried about managing their own explosive growth, the constant threat of cyber attacks, another pandemic messing with operations, and even the long-term impact of climate change.
But maybe, just maybe, the biggest challenge of all is the digital one. This slide tells a tale of two very different companies. In one year, the physical stores were a money printing machine, raking in over 1,600 crores in profit. But in that exact same period, their e-commerce venture, DMart Ready, was a money pit, losing over 142 crores. The contrast is just stark.
And that right there brings us to the final critical question. D-Mart has absolutely mastered the physical retail world with its legendary focus on value and efficiency. But can they work that same magic online in the brutal, cutthroat world of e-commerce? That is the billion-dollar question that's going to define the next chapter for this value empire. What do you think?